Welcome back, everyone. Okay, let's dive into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating piece of classical epic literature, straight from the Mahabharata, specifically section 45. And guys, what we're looking at is nothing less than a celestial matchmaking mission. You know, we usually think of these epic ancient texts as being all about devastating wars, intense philosophy, or grand cosmic events, right? But here, we get this incredibly structured, highly calculated, and honestly just charming look at how relationships and rewards are orchestrated up in the heavenly realms.
So we gotta ask ourselves, when the gods decide someone deserves a romantic reward, how exactly do they pull it off? I mean, how does the Lord of Heaven actually play matchmaker? As we go through this today, we're gonna break down this specific strategy, the persuasive pitch, and the ultimate success of an ancient, divine setup. If you think setting up your friends on a blind date requires some serious diplomacy, well, just wait until you see how the gods handle it.
Section 1. The Divine Matchmaker. To understand how this whole thing unfolds, we have to start at the very beginning. Let's look at the mastermind behind this grand operation and the initial spark that sets everything in motion. Our text opens with a simple observation. Vasava, who is the absolute Lord of Heaven, you probably know him best as Indra, notices that the great hero Arjuna is casting some glances over at Urvasi. Now, Indra doesn't just ignore this. He spots a really unique opportunity here. Arjuna is a highly prized hero, so Indra decides to step in and take an active, kind of conspiratorial role in setting them up.
But Indra doesn't just tell them to go grab coffee, right? He formulates a very specific strategic order. He calls up his messenger and lays out a two-step plan. Step 1, go as an emissary to Urvasi. Step 2, request that she teach Arjuna the arts of female company. The text explicitly points out Indra's reasoning here. Arjuna has already mastered all the weapons in martial arts, which is great, but to be fully well-rounded, to be a complete hero, he's got to learn how to handle himself gracefully in female company. It's basically a celestial curriculum requirement.
Section 2. The Messenger's Pitch. All right, so with the strategy locked in, we move to the execution phase. Indra needs the perfect person to deliver this request. You can't just waltz up to the top tier of celestial society without a highly persuasive presentation. Enter our celestial wingman, Chitrasena. The text defines him as the king and chief of the Gandharvas. Indra calls him in private and personally deputizes him for this mission. And listen, by choosing a literal king as a messenger, Indra is signaling the absolute highest level of respect for the target of this pitch. This isn't a job for a minor servant. It needs a diplomat with the highest ranking credentials possible.
And who exactly is the target? It's Urvasi. The text explicitly calls her the foremost of Apsaras. Now, the Apsaras are these celestial dancers, beings of just immense beauty and grace, and Urvasi is at the absolute pinnacle of them all. Establishing her supreme status explains exactly why Indra needed a king to deliver his message in the first place, and why she's considered the ultimate, most prestigious reward for a hero like Arjuna.
So, when Chitrasena arrives, the courtly protocol is just flawless. Urvasi recognizes him instantly. She gives him this incredibly warm welcome and salutations. They sit down, they're at ease. It's a very comfortable, highly respectful environment. And then, smilingly, Chitrasena drops the news. He tells her he's there on behalf of the sole Lord of Heaven, who is asking a specific favor of her. He sets the hook beautifully.
Section 3. The Ultimate Hero's Resume.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because now Chitrasena has to convince Urvasi that Arjuna is actually worthy of her time. What follows is the climax of the pitch, this massive, breathless, completely overwhelming list of the hero's virtues. It's basically the ultimate heroic resume. And notice Chitrasena doesn't start by bragging about Arjuna's muscles, he starts with his mind. He energetically lists Arjuna's incredible intellectual and spiritual achievements. He notes that Arjuna has studied all 4 Vedas with their branches, mastered the Upanishads and the Puranas, and has unwavering devotion to his preceptors, his teachers. He even points out that Arjuna possesses an intellect endowed with 8 specific attributes. Chitrasena is proving right out of the gate that this hero's mind and spirit have been rigorously and flawlessly trained.
Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is how Chitrasena highlights Arjuna's interpersonal skills. You'd probably expect a warrior's pitch to be all about aggression and dominance, but look at the character traits listed here. Arjuna has a forgiving temper, he's without malice, and he is never boastful. Socially, he's sweet-speeched, truthful, and universally pleasing. Plus, his generosity is legendary. He literally showers diverse food and drink on his friends and dependents. These gentle personality traits are being valued just as highly as his ability to win wars on a battlefield.
But hey, he is still a legendary warrior, and Chitrasena makes absolutely sure Urvasi knows it. He highlights his unmatched physical might and martial prowess. The text states Arjuna is capable of protecting the celestial regions just like Mahabharata himself. He's compared directly to divine figures, said to be equal to even Mahendra and Varuna. His physical senses are so honed he beholds the minutest things just as clearly as gross and large ones, all while remaining ready-witted and firm in his promises. He's presented as a being of near-divine status.
After laying out all these incredible attributes, Chitrasena reveals the real core motivation of the text. He says, "O Urvasi, know that hero is to be made to taste the joys of heaven." This is such a critical line. It clarifies that this arrangement isn't just some casual encounter. Because of his immense virtues, Arjuna has actually earned a divine reward. He is literally meant to experience the joys of heaven, and Urvasi is the embodiment of that joy.
Chitrasena finally wraps up his pitch with a very clear call to action. He reiterates that this is commanded directly by Indra, and explicitly asks that Dhananjaya, which is another name for Arjuna, obtain her feat today. And to seal the deal, Chitrasena adds one final, absolutely crucial piece of leverage. He tells her, "Dhananjaya is inclined to thee." In other words, the hero is already interested.
Section 4. Urvasi's glad acceptance.
So the grand pitch has been delivered, the resume has been read, the commands of the gods have been conveyed. We transition now to the final act of our narrative to answer our overarching question, did this highly structured divine pitch actually work? Well, the text gives us her immediate reaction, and it is a resounding success. Urvasi, who is described as having faultless features, receives the Gandharvas' words so warmly. There's zero hesitation, zero offense taken. She keeps a smiling face, shows high respect for the message, and answers with a genuinely glad heart. That extensive presentation of Arjuna's virtues landed perfectly.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the flawless logic of Chitrasena's carefully structured list won her over completely. She replies, "Hearing of the virtues that should adorn men, as unfolded by thee, I would bestow my favors upon anyone who happened to possess them. Why should I not, then, choose Arjuna for a lover?" She's essentially saying that Chitrasena built such an objectively perfect case for the ideal man, it would just be illogical for her to refuse.
The text then beautifully breaks down her stated motivations into 4 distinct pillars. First up, there's duty, the direct command of Indra. Second, there's loyalty, her friendship for the messenger Chitrasena. Third, there's objective merit, the numerous, undeniable virtues of Falguna, which, by the way, is yet another name for Arjuna. And fourth, there's genuine romance. She admits she is already under the influence of the god of love. It is just this perfect blend of obligation, respect, logic, and emotion.
With all these reasons perfectly aligned, we reach the resolute conclusion of the narrative. Urvasi gives Chitrasena her final answer. "Go thou therefore to the place thou desirest. I shall gladly go to Arjuna." The matchmaking mission is a complete, unequivocal success. It was orchestrated by Indra, flawlessly pitched by Chitrasena, and enthusiastically accepted by Urvasi.
So the crucial point is that this ancient text shows us a highly sophisticated view of heroism and romance, where intellectual mastery, gentle manners, and martial prowess are all equally necessary to earn the ultimate celestial reward. It really makes you think about our own standards today. Look back at that massive list of virtues Chitrasena pitched: the intellect, the sweetness of speech, the complete lack of malice. How do these ancient divine virtues compare to our modern definition of a perfect hero? It's definitely something to think about the next time you see heroes rewarded in our modern stories. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer, and I hope this leaves you eager to explore the incredible depths of classical epic literature. Keep learning.